Ready to rock, son. Welcome back, David, to the Blackbird Podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, you're older now and wiser.
Oh, Jesus, don't even go there. Older, no wiser.
In this funky age that we live in, is that a thing for you now? I mean, are you still like... I don't know. Are you like, oh man, I'm whatever age? Do you fall into the mind trap that everyone just says, oh, I have to think of my life and all that crap?
No. No, there's only small things, small differences when you get a bit older. I'm making a lot more old man noises, like, you know, when I'm getting down, standing up or picking something up. It's you know, other than that, there's no fucking...
I can remember having those all the time.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with age. Just to do with the fuckery that we'd be getting up to as kids, getting all bust up.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, look, once you're keeping active, it doesn't, you know, you wouldn't feel it. Like, I wouldn't feel much of a difference between now and mid-30s, like. You know, health-wise now and fitness-wise, much the same as
I honestly think that I'd be better these days than what I would be in my 20s.
Yeah,
Well, definitely my 20s, that was a write-off. 30s, definitely do.
You know, but once you're active, I think it gets rid of a lot of the niggly bits, like, you know.
But even for your head, you know what I mean? You're more committed to your path at this stage of the game.
You know the crack now.
You know who the fuck you are.
You know
what
the things
want,
to give a shit about,
want.
and you know the things not to give a shit about, and you just, you know, like, I find my bullshit tolerance goes way down.
Yes.
As I get older, like.
Yeah. Mine is at 0. Yeah. Can you go to -0? Because if you can, I'm going there too.
You know,
but yeah, the way the fucking women make such a big deal about it, like,
look,
we have to have a party, we have to have a cake. Fuck off. Give me a beer. I'll be fine. Then you start feeling, your feelings are all about their feelings then.
no, sure, look, that doesn't matter what age you are.
It's counterproductive then, because it's nothing to do with you really. You're just a vehicle for them to have a moment. So Limerick on Saturday. By the time this goes out, it'll probably be Saturday.
Yeah, sure, look. No, field round, so we don't have enough of them, in fairness, you know, because you get Yuki Fact there every year, but it's somewhere different, but it's...
And Laois having one in May?
Laois had his, no.
They're having like a double day with this.
Oh, they're having a field and hunt around.
Is that 3D or paper?
Paper. You've got black on white and you've white on black.
Yeah.
You know, so you do one half.
What's that about, like? What's the point of that?
One is field, one is hunter. You know? So you'd have the first...
Get a bit more fucking creative, couldn't they?
That's Saturday, Sunday, so the first day is field or hunter, and the second day then is the other, like, you know. Like Limerick now is just a field round. So that's paper faces. I think the ranges are 11 yards up to 70 yards. And it's
70 for the love.
It's normal counting and paper, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you know. And then there's some of them you have to, I think it's 4 arrows for every target. Some of them you have to hit a certain, you know, the 5 spots now you have to hit them in.
I got Scooby-Dooed on that one. The first time I was in Laois doing that, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Sure, I read no book about nothing. And I shot one, I goes, geez, I got it. I got right in like an X, so I said I'll go for it again. And everyone lost their fucking mind.
No, but there's a couple of different, there's fan target then where you take a shot and then you have to move and take a shot and then you have to move and take a shot.
Just step along. Yeah. You know? I know this one.
And some people get very upset over it. Like, you know, it's like Limerick now on Saturday. It's only a bit of crack. Do you know what I mean? And if somebody...
All of them are just a bit of crack.
But if somebody forgets to move, you know, you will, I can guarantee you will have some people...
Sure, that's the captain's job to remind them, like, hey lads, just step on there.
Yeah, but still, look, it happens, like, do you know what I mean? And some people will be adamant that there's no score for that, like, and they wouldn't even be in the same category, so it wouldn't affect them in the slightest.
Yeah, but some people just like being cunts. They wake up in cunt mode.
Yeah, but that's it for the day. Field round is a good round because you get like you have distances, so it's different from the animals that way. You know exactly what range you're shooting.
That fucking seldom makes much difference to me.
Well, I suppose for recurvers less than for compounders. Like compounders, you dial in your range.
Well, there's some recurvers now who'll be doing that out with their their fucking range card or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I could, for me, that's just too much fucking
Yeah, but
around.
for like bow hunter there now, recurve, it makes no difference whether you know the range or not, unless you're practicing at it, like, and you know exactly.
When I'm practicing, I only have one distance, and I stick with, because I'm not practicing shooting the distance.
You're not practicing.
I'm practicing my form, and I had a shitty day, and then the next day it was night and day. It was brilliant the next day, so I was delighted with that. But just don't be in a hurry. Fucking take your time.
Well, like with say you can go out and you have the benefit of, because it's 4 hours. You know, if 1 hour
First
is
hour is a sacrifice.
But that's the thing, like, you know. And if you can score out of 3 out of your 4 hours,
happy days.
do you know what I mean? You'll be doing good, like.
Yeah.
You know. Like the 70 yard is. I was so excited in Laois when they had the field round that I got an X at 70 yards, and I was so happy that I went up to was it the 60 or 50 yards, and I forgot to change my sights back down, so I shot it at 70 yards again, and Jesus, I don't think the arrow has ever been found.
I don't know how to gap for 70. I'll just fucking Hail Mary it.
Yeah, but sure, that's.
Well, you shoot 74 times, is it?
I don't think you should. The 70 isn't 4 times because that's a walk.
One of a group kind
so
of.
So you do 70, 60, 50, 40 or something like that, you know. It's 1 arrow at each range.
Yeah.
You know. Like the ones where you do 4 arrows at the same range would be like, you know, the shorter 20 to 40 maybe. Where there's no.
It's interesting to see how Limerick do that now with paper face, like.
I'd say there'd be more field rounds if more clubs had more butts.
Speaking of which, I see on Facebook there that Cork City have got a woods.
Have they?
Yeah, they got. It must be a recent development. They were flirting with it. There's no great information about it.
I remember last year they were saying that they were looking at a place.
But they have. They've got the 2 containers there now, and they've been making
where
lanes.
the wood is?
I have no fucking clue. They're not
I
telling
assume
nobody.
it's near Ballincollig, or not Ballincollig, near Glenmire.
I don't know.
Where they're based, like.
Not a fucking iota.
A lot of woodland around there.
But they're busy anyway. I'm looking forward to that now. That'd be cool. Another wood to go to.
Another local wood to go to.
Local, yeah.
You know?
It's kind of, is it like a Christmas tree wood?
No.
But they're working.
There's some places like the likes of Mayo there now.
Fantastic.
Beautiful course. But it's just so damn far.
It's too far. And it's just staying over, and it's like, that's a luxury.
Yeah.
Time-wise, it's a luxury, like.
Yeah.
But Limerick, I love Limerick woods.
Limerick is nice. I like
Limerick now, and you know the cliff, from the cliffside, well, all of Dunbrody, but mainly my favourite part of Dunbrody is when you come down off the cliff and you go trekking off that way then.
Yeah.
The big fucking trees. It's cool.
Well, it's an old wood, like, you know.
I don't mind the other side, but that part really has.
But the other side is very open. You know,
it is, yeah.
As in you're shooting from the road there.
There's just more fucking character in that part of the woods. It's you could be making a movie down there, like.
Yeah.
It's got its own strong character.
I know it's
and Limerick is that kind of everywhere, except is it the, you know, when you head away and you go off to the left. It is what it is. But when you go to the right, Limerick, that's the glory of Limerick.
Yeah.
In their woods, but
they have a huge wood, like
that's massive.
You know, I'm surprised it isn't more. You know, like they could easily fit another course in there, like.
Who knows what they're up to? I mean, Cork just show up with the woods out of the blue, and you're like, whoa, what? So Limerick are probably doing stuff.
Like if we could fit a second course in above.
Not a hope in hell.
No, I can't see it. Like there is a lot of areas that we haven't used, like, but.
With good reason.
You could fit it in, but you'd only be able to run one at a time, like. Because, you know, one would be backing up to the other, so it wouldn't be safe, like.
No.
But you could set up, like we've 28 targets out now, we could set up probably 40 targets.
Really?
Yeah.
Where the fuck are you putting that?
Oh, this is we were up there, was it Sunday? Just looking, like, and there's a lot of areas we haven't touched, like. Like, you know where the bear that was down the hill?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, you go down the hill and you shoot parallel to the field.
And it's best shot in the course. You know?
That's the 60, isn't it? 58, 60 or something like that.
But it's, and it just makes going up the hill easier, because there's none of this going down and then going up and then going down and then going up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
More,
Yeah, it flows better, like.
Better curving.
But you could sneak in an extra 2 or 3 shots there if you wanted to, like.
I tell you now, when I be going around to some of the courses, at some course of the day, I'd be thinking, how the fuck? Who came up with this? Like, who made the lanes? Who just figured this shit out? That can't be easy.
It depends on the wood. Like you look at leash.
Well, I know the lay of the land dictates everything.
Leash is just straight, shoot, back, shoot, back, shoot, back. You know, it's set out in lanes now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I rather a wood that you're wandering around the wood and, you know, everything isn't...
Valley Bowman have a fucking lovely wood.
Valley Bowman is nice.
It's very cool. Yeah. Again, big trees again everywhere. And it's just... It's very pretty.
You see, some clubs are just so lucky they get, you know, they have a really big, mature wood, like,
yeah.
You know. Like, Lochray, like, they've a fantastic wood up there, like.
Was I at Lochray?
Oh, you weren't there, so. They're there.
Where's that?
They were supposed to be shooting this month. They were actually supposed to be shooting, is it Sunday? But it was cancelled. It's off now until May.
How far were they?
An hour and 40 minutes, or 45 minutes maybe.
That's manageable, like. You know? I go to that.
Like, it's about on par with Wexford from here, like. You know, there wouldn't be much of a difference, 10, 15 minutes.
That's grand.
But it's worth, Jesus, it's well worth the spin, like.
So, okay, I'll pencil them in, so for the next
like,
time.
Once you get to Limerick, like, it's motorway most of the way up, like.
You can avoid the city, like, can you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't like going near any fucking towns or cities too much.
No, it's in fairness, they have a lot of incline and decline shots, like, I mean, steep.
Like Limerick. Limerick have a lot of that going on.
Like Limerick, but you know the cliff shot in Dunbrody, like they have something like that, like.
Oh fuck!
You know, where you're on the roadway at the top and you're shooting down into a big hole, like, you know.
A ravine kind of thing.
No, there's some good shots there. Then there's a couple that compounders hate. There's one there, it's kind of in a cave nearly, and you're out in the wood, and you can see it, but as soon as you bring the bow up, you can't see it.
Really?
Yeah, there's some tricky shots there, like.
I'd say it's a fucking... I don't know how compounders aren't absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah. You know?
That fucking bow, man, I'd be baiting it off a tree. No way, I never, ever, I can safely say, I will never shoot a compound bow.
Look, you can't. So you fucking the same problems with a bloody recurve. You know what I mean?
I don't know what's going on. I got Jared Amara, I forget what club he's with, but he sent me a photo of an arrow rest to try. But then Owen Reynolds was meant to send me a fucking name of an arrow rest. He said it's fucking bomb proof. They use it on the bear bow, because the bear bow, you know, when they're string walking,
yeah,
the arrow's fucking hopping off the.
Yeah.
So they take quite a lot of abuse. And he said he had one there for years, and there was no problem with it at all. I always get these fancy fucking trinkety things, and they just fucking blow up.
No, you want something. And like if you've no faith in your equipment going out on the day, it makes for a long day, like, you know.
No, a challenge.
You know. Yeah, but Jesus, like last time we were in Mayo, you didn't even have a rest on the bow.
That's right.
You know?
Sure, the same fucking happened down in Wexford this year. I thought it was okay. First 4 targets maybe, and I went to put the arrow on. The arrows was gone. What the fuck? So the button came off then as well. Yeah,
the button spends more time in your pocket than on the bow.
Well, it does be acting the maggot, and that's mainly because of the rest. But I have this rectified in good time. This fucking haunt on now until he tells me what that fucking thing is. I just want a chunky bolt-on fucking arrow rest. I don't have to.
That's one thing that is seriously lacking in Ireland is, you know, good bow tech that you can actually bring your bow to. And that can do the whole lot for you. You know, you be there with them and you give them your measurements and the whole lot, and they can set everything up for you. And
I'd be scouring YouTube, and most of the time it's like, welcome to today's video, and they're going through their phone.
But that's it. See, the video
before you know it, then they've done it, but you haven't seen shit. Or else they put you to sleep with over-detailed
for recurve information. It's because it's so individual. Everything is so... It has to be done specifically for you. Like, I'm grand. I have a problem with my compound. I go to Keith Ryan and we'll
figure it out,
like, you know.
But that's half the fun, figuring out your own shit, isn't it?
It is, but it can be expensive fun, like, you know.
Well, when you're on compounds, yeah, but I don't understand that. That's like buying a fucking boat. It's just going to have trouble all the time.
Yeah.
But but the difference so far this year is like, even when my bow is being bowled, it doesn't affect. I still get some dinger shots, like.
I know, but you can't.
And that makes the dinger shot all the better.
Yeah, but you can't get consistency. Like, if you're changing things every week, you know, if the rest isn't right and you're fiddling with it every week.
Yeah.
You know, like, what you want is to have your bow and make absolutely no changes to it. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. And then week on week, that's when you start improving, when you start shooting week on week. But if you shoot this week and at the end of the week, then you're making changes again, then that's gone, and you have to start again. Like, and it just makes
hardly my fault.
No, it's look, it is what it is. Like, you know,
and it's marketing. It's what it is. The way they to present this lovely fucking thing, and you're, I'm having it. You get it. You put it together, and it's shooting great at practice. You go to a competition, within 4 shots, it's taking a shit, and you're like, what the fuck?
Did you get on to Jose and see what he has in the line of
no, because I'm not.
Even if he doesn't have it, he'll get it for you. Like, he's you know,
well, exactly. If Owen can tell me what the fuck it is,
yeah,
I can say it to Jose.
Yeah, because like I can see him doing fairly well now. Jose,
has he got a physical shop?
He doesn't have a physical shop yet, but
he doesn't really need one, I suppose.
Well, he said he's going to get one. That's his plan, like.
But you know? I mean, is he not going to promote the fucking thing?
Well, he's promoting
a dirty secret at the moment.
No, but he's promoting it within shoots and that, like, you know, so people who
I must get him on Tiffam and fuck.
But he's like, he should have a stall at Tiffam at the festival, like
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, it's people like that you want to see there, like, you know. But and his prices are pretty good too. Like, he's got I got a level there. No, I got it as a present, so I didn't pay for it. But he was selling it for like, €20 cheaper or something.
How's he?
You know? Like, it was 105 or whatever from, I think it was Burn. No, that's shipped, like, but he sent me a quote for it in for 75, 76
Well, you have to do well now, because I like Burn. For what I need from them, they're grand.
Burn is grand, but he's fucking a bit, I don't know. He sends you stuff and it won't be right. Like, I ordered Knox. Simple, you know.
Yeah, but fucking compounders are just schizo,
but I ordered a pack of 30 Knox and he sent me 3. You know, who orders 3? Like,
that's
3 Knox. Put 3 Knox in a piece of plastic he sent in an envelope to me. And I got charged €10 for the delivery for that, like. You know what I mean? And I got on to him and I says, who the fuck wants 3 Knox?
Well, there's human error and everything.
But jeez, there's human error and there's a little bit of common sense as well, like, you know.
But they think fucking people down in Cork are mental.
I don't know.
Fucking 3.
No, but I think if he gets a physical shop, he'll do well.
Where's he based? Limerick?
He's based in Limerick, but sure, that'd be great. Like, there's only up the road. Like, I just rang him there the other day looking for 5-spot targets, and he'll bring them on to the next shoot.
Yeah, that's handy that way, but again, he should be fucking screaming it off the rooftops.
Mm-hmm.
He should be screaming it off the rooftops, doing little videos of.
I think he's trying to get a physical place.
Yeah, but even at that, I mean, he's a dinger with the camera as well. So put the two of them together, and you've got your own marketing campaign.
Yeah, but I'd know what his prices on the website are, because they're only kind of guides. You ring him up and say, "Geez, that's very expensive," and he'll drop the price for you. Like,
that won't last long.
Well, if he gets a physical place, he'll have overheads then. Like,
I'd be avoiding the physical place at the moment.
Yeah, but look, I don't mind paying full price for something as long as you get what you order. That's the number
best thing he could do now is go in, invest in a fucking container, put it in his garden, and fill it with all his stuff.
I was saying to him, he should get an old van and fucking load it up there when he's going to the shoots and bring it onto the shoots. Like, you know, somebody's always looking for something.
Yeah, but is that really what you want to be doing on your day? With a shoot is a shoot. You want to have the crack and you want to fuck off when it's done. You don't want to be fucking.
You know, for something
like Del Boy.
But for something like the Weekenders, that'd be on, like, you know.
Well, maybe the Weekenders.
But no, yeah, just look, it's archery's all bloody. There's always something, you know.
Well, I found now when I had my fucking fucked up bow, it wasn't even fucked up. It was a dinger, and it was hanging for 10 years strong. And when I started shooting that, and once I got a bit of form together, I was out. Olympics, here we go. Like I thought I was a natural. Then I buy a bow, the proper bow, and it's been a pure cunt since.
Yeah. I think everybody goes through that. You know, like I was shooting there now for the IMM, like, and I'd shoot one round on a Monday, and I'd get 292, and then on Tuesday I get 300, and then on Wednesday I get 295. You know, it's hard to.
But it's again, it goes back to what you're saying. If you're shooting every day, you bypass so much crap.
Oh yeah, like what you want is just muscle memory to kick in and to be doing it without even thinking about it, because there's so much you have to think about. You have to think about absolutely everything, and if you can do that without even realising you're doing it, sure, that's half the battle.
Well,
you know,
I'm a bit of an airhead now, it must be said, especially when in the woods. I'm like, oh.
When I started, especially, it was every time I got shoot and I'd get lovely grouping exactly where I want them, and then the next day I'd be fucking all over the map.
But is that just fatigue and ball fitness?
Well, I used to think there's something wrong with the ball.
Well, that's your first go-to thing. Like, the ego won't allow you to say, I'm fucking shit today.
Yeah, I'd start fiddling. Like, but no, if I'm having a bad day like that, I just stop and I go home and I wait till the next day and it'll be fine, you know?
Yeah, well, I was kind of like that now in one of my 60 arrows. And when I got to maybe 40, I was like, Jesus, everything went south, like. And I thought, just shake it off and just go through your form again, your steps, and then I was back to normal. Shooting pretty good, like.
That's it, like. But it's look, that's what every single archer is looking for, is consistency, is to be able to do the same thing every time they pick up the bow.
Yeah.
And every single archer is still trying to do that. Nobody can do that every time they pick up the bow.
Yeah, it's funny. It really is. I mean, to go from 5 arrows and the grouping is tight and super. Your next 5 arrows like a shotgun. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Maybe you're just so excited about the first 5 arrows.
No, but that's it. It's. I would say, it is the like when you fire your 5 arrows and you get perfect grouping.
Yes.
And then I think in your head you get a little bit overconfident and say, "This is so easy," and you go and you do exactly the same thing. And you fire another 5 arrows and they're all over the bloody board. And then you go back and then you're freaking out. Why can...
And you spiral.
My first 5 be perfect, but my second 5 are horrible. And then you're fixated in, not on the first 5, but on the second 5. It's always the worst arrows you'll fixate on.
I call that my celebration.
Oh, but this is the thing.
Like. That's like the pardon it gets. Now back to normal. On the third.
Like I was there yesterday now in the wood, and I fired 5 arrows at 60. And 4-inch group, delighted, and it was a little bit to the left and a little bit low. A couple of them caught the white, but you know the group was nice. That's what I was looking for. And I says, right, I'm going to bring it this way a touch, and I'm going to bring it that way, and it'll be perfect in the middle. And I took my next 5 arrows. Sweet mother of Jesus, they just went everywhere. They went absolutely and in my head I did nothing different. I had the same stance, I had the same, my elbow was the same, my anchor was the same, everything was the same, except the arrows went fucking all over the place. And I don't know, Was
it windy?
No. There was no, like, it was me, like, I've no doubt in my mind about that, but it's just, wow, you know.
But I remember when I put the heavier string on my bow, and I was shooting like, what you call it? My point down was like 20.
Right.
And it shouldn't be like. So then I said I better find what my gap is. So I went like, you know, I shot it at 10, then 15, then 20. And I'd measure all the time. And it was still back to 20. I thought, what the fuck, that's weird. But handy for the indoors. And then the next day, I said, okay, I'll just shoot the X's all day. And basically it's like I'm gapping at the X, because that's what I was doing just to see where it would go the day before. And it just shot off into the field. Fucking miles over and I went, what the fuck? Yesterday, if I did that, it was in the X. Today I did the exact thing and it shot over the fucking thing.
But that's it with, especially with recurve. When you get to where you're shooting and you set up your bow, your first arrow is always to see where you have to aim. You always lose 1 or 2 arrows just to get your aim right. And then once you know, right, I have to aim here now to get the centre, then you're okay, but you're losing those couple of arrows.
Yeah, but your gap is your gap. It shouldn't be moving. That's the whole point I'm making.
But look, so many people, their anchor points change with every second shot. You know what I mean? Their hand, I've seen people shoot and their hand is away from their cheek. And they're wondering why wasn't it the same? I got an X in the last one. Why was that one in the field?
Yeah.
You know? And like they could be back here and then they could be here and then they could be here. You know, look, it's a learning curve for everyone. Like, but do you know what I mean? Unless they listen to the people who are trying, because
it's hard to listen to people tell you what to do.
This is the thing. Like, I know when I'm doing something wrong. I just don't know what it is I'm doing wrong.
But you're figuring it out.
Well, like ideally, you want somebody watching you that can, because I can't see it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm shooting everything exactly the way it should be. But as soon as somebody in the know is watching me shoot, you just say, keep an eye on me there and just let me know. And they say, Jesus, your elbows are way up in the air. And you don't feel that when you're drawing. Like.
That's fine when you're someone like at the club or whatever, you know, that you have the banter with and stuff and you trust them. But when you get someone then who thinks they're a know-it-all and it's just their tone or something, the minute they open their mouth, you want to shoot them.
Yeah, you have people like that who just... You know, need to stick their nose in for the sake of sticking their nose in, and that's fair enough. Like,
it's not fucking fair enough.
You know, the world needs idiots too. Like, you know, but you know, like the point is that you need somebody to keep an eye on.
It's very helpful. You know? It is very helpful because I mean, Keith pointed something out, and then himself and Phelan were fucking recording me shoot the arrows, and then he shows me the video and goes, "Do you see it?" And I'm like, "I see nothing. Everything is fine."
No, but that's the
because you're dropping. But what I was trying to explain why I was doing what I was doing. I said, once I get my thing, I said, I gotta assume my gap. So I'm like here, and then I'll drop it down to where my gap will be. And the boys were like, you should, as if you should automatically go to your gap or something. Like, that's not gonna happen.
That's it. Like,
Green Arrow wouldn't do that, like.
For a very long time, I was, my shoulder or my elbow was very high. And people kept saying it, like, your elbow's very... And I thought, no, it's not, because I'd be conscious to bring it back level. And then they took a video, and Jesus, it was very high, and it didn't feel like it was high when I was drawing the bow. It felt like it was going back level.
What about, I'm counter to that then, what about when you're getting fucking X's all day long and your elbow is still fucking high, according to the viewer or whoever's watching? You know, they're saying, no, but you're shooting wrong, but you're getting your results.
Yeah, but the problem is, if your elbow is a little high and you're getting X's all day, that's fine. But the next day, your elbow might not be the same. Do you know what I mean? If you bring it back level all the time, you can guarantee that. If it keeps going back the same every time, and that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're looking for repeatable action, like, you know. So if your elbow's going back level all the time, then every time you shoot, it's going to be exactly the same. But if it's up, you don't know, is it there or is it there or is it, you know, and it'll be different every time, and that's going to make your arrow go higher or lower. You know what I mean? So if you can bring it back the same every single time, then your shot will be the same every single time. And that's what archery is. Like, it's repeatable. Everything has to be repeatable.
Sometimes archery can be an utter cunt, can't it?
Okay, of course. It breaks my brain more often than not. Like, yeah, because you shoot and you get 5 X's, and then you shoot and you get no X's.
I used to fucking think golf was a stupid waste of time, but then when I was listening to golfers talking about golf, they're saying the same thing archers are saying.
Every sport,
they're trying to get that same thing repeated.
But it's individual sports, you know, because it's down to you.
Yeah.
And you've nobody, like a team sport, you can blame somebody else. But when it's an individual sport like archery, the buck stops with you. And if you're doing something wrong, then that's your bloody fault. You know, if you're not going to try to correct it, like.
Well, here's something I did wrong. I'm not going to fucking eating a goddamn thing till the first break. I mean, because I was there, it's my day off. I'll have this, because we were delayed a little bit, and I'm eating this heavy shit.
Yeah, but everybody has their little quirks, do you know what I mean? Little thing that they have to do.
It's amazing what'll fuck you up, like.
Look, it's but again, it's repeatable action. It's not just with your, you know, it's
yeah, but you can, it's like that example now. You could go into a great form, but you have that one thing that you don't do, but you do it today. You eat some, and before you go shooting, and your body starts digesting, and that has a kick on to you, how you know you're more like. Ugh.
I think the biggest change for me,
gummy bears. I'm getting gummy bears.
I changed quivers. And the difference that made.
Quiver, lad.
The difference, the quiver, just changing the quiver, just having it in a different place, having a different weight, it threw everything off. And it took me probably 3 or 4 weeks just to get back to what I was shooting before. And that's just a quiver, you know?
I don't know. When I get out there, I'm thinking, don't be a bitch. Fucking step up and do great. And then I miss. And I miss. And I miss.
It's practice. You have to shoot. Even when you don't feel like it, you have to have a couple of shots. Shoot.
Yeah.
You just have to build up the muscle memory so that when you actually go to a competition or you go to a shoot and you draw the bow, everything is happening without you having to concentrate on, am I drawing it properly? Am I anchoring properly? Is my elbow okay? Is my stance okay?
Jesus, I never think of any of that.
But this is the thing, you know, you have the steps for a shot. You know, your shot cycle is so. And if you can do that without actually thinking about it, that's
the
what you
thing
want.
Nick was on about. I was in the middle of filling out a questionnaire and then I noticed a lot of the questions. You know, you really should have your book with you because I'm giving poems off his answers. I should be giving quotes off his answers.
Yeah, but everything.
I'm going off experience more than anything, where I can.
Yeah, but
know what I mean?
It's like
because he's on about write out your shot sequence.
And like every shot, from the minute you're standing ready to shoot, from the minute the ball comes up, it should take to the millisecond. It should be exactly the same every time because your sequence should be exactly the same. Up, back. You've already in your head, you know you're anchoring right. You know your elbows.
Yeah.
But it's it's a set motion. So every time you're doing it exactly the same, and that's what gives you repeatable shots. Like
I'm
doing
trying
everything
to slow
exactly
my whole shot cycle down.
Yeah, but you have to do it.
Going too fast.
You have to do it You have to do it consistently. You know, it has to be religious. You need to do it every single time, and that's the difference between the people.
I'm looking
who are winning.
to just breathe every single time.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, you know, it's some people can't. Some people just can't do it. Like, some people get it in their head that every time they pick up the ball, they have to remember this, they have to remember that, they have to remember everything, and you don't. Like, that's what practice is for, you know. And
that's the only time I think is when I'm practicing outside.
yeah, but when you practice enough, you're doing these things, you don't realise you're doing them. You're anchoring exactly the same every single time. Your elbow is exactly where it should be. Your draw, the shape of when you're at full draw, the body shape, you know, your alignment is perfect.
That's what I actually found early days with the training outside here. It's like I was nearly overextending or something, and after a while then you get tired and the extension's gone. So now I'm messing with an idea of lazy shots, where you're just comfortable.
Yeah, but if
there's no straining.
But something simple there, like bringing your right foot forward a little bit.
No, I don't do that.
That'll open you up or close you up a little bit, and you know you're not drawing. You know you're still drawing it, but you're not putting yourself under as much pressure.
The coaching course was brilliant for that because it changed the whole way I shoot.
Yeah, but it's
one fucking day, because the way you square up your feet. This way, like a box, and your hips are in alignment with that, and your shoulders the same.
And that's great to
and
start.
Your face.
That's only to start, like, because everybody's different. Some people will keep a straight stance like that, so they'll be completely parallel to the target. Other people will shoot better when
off
one
an
foot is
angle.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you get the basics done, build on it, like you said, and then you.
Like the idea of that course is just to make sure beginners don't shoot people, you know, by accident. That they can do it safely and they're not going to hurt themselves and they're not going to hurt other people. And that's pretty much it. And after that, then it's just practice. Like, but everybody starts in the same place. You know what I mean? And everybody has the same, you know, there's something wrong with my bow. There's nothing wrong with the bow. Like,
tell me about it. Fuck it. Although that bow, I think I gave it to Dave Casey to get him into archery, but I don't think that happened. But he did like it. No, I did find the last time I shot, I think it was a 40-something pound. It was very taxing.
See, a lot of people, and especially with compound, a lot of people shoot heavier poundage than they need to shoot.
Yeah, mine now, I think mine's like 34 and it's perfect.
Yeah, like
I could shoot it all day and all night.
Like when I started shooting, I started with 60 pounds.
That's nuts.
It is a little bit crazy. No, I reduced it. I tore my rotator cuff, and when I was recovering from that, I reduced it to 50 pound, and I couldn't. I found when it was 60, it steadied me up more, and when I reduced it to 50, I had a lot more shake.
That's
you know,
mental.
It's crazy. So I put it back, and it was back to normal. Like, but some people when they're starting, what's the heaviest I can draw, and they try to use that. Like, you know, and there's no.
You're
need
only
for it.
shooting targets for fuck's sake.
You know?
And
again, it's a lot of people are pushed into compound bows from the start.
That should never fucking
and
happen.
Like nobody should be allowed to shoot a compound bow until they've shot a recurve for 12 months.
Oh, definitely.
You know, because that's where you learn form, and that's where everything is fine tuned, and then try a compound. You know, but it's going straight into compound. You lose. I feel like I've lost out in a lot because I didn't shoot a recurve. Like
recurve's where it's at.
Yeah,
I love the recurve.
I wouldn't go back to recurve. Like I wouldn't swap. No, I'd like to shoot a recurve, but I wouldn't shoot it in a competition. Like, I don't like the idea of, not aiming at what you want to shoot.
But if you were doing recurve now, I'd suggest you try to do string walking. Because it'd be the closest thing to your fucking...
No, the closest thing to the compound would be Olympic recurve. With the sight.
I don't know what the point of that is.
But that's the thing. At least you're aiming for what you want to hit.
Yeah,
but then you have the same... I don't know, I just wouldn't... fair play to anybody shooting recurve. Like, cause
Olympic recurve looks boring as fuck.
Yeah.
At least when you're doing the bear bow and the hunter recurve, there's a bit of
but it's more difficult, like.
Oh, it is way more difficult.
Just a bow and a small little stabiliser on the front, I think is one of the most difficult.
But when you get there, it's fucking awesome.
It is when you get there.
But you get...
I could shoot that at 20 yards and I'd be reasonable. I wouldn't be great by any stretch, but I'd be reasonable. But put it at 40 yards, I wouldn't hit the target. Like,
I'm good actually. I think I'm good with from 15 up to 60.
We were out in, where were we shooting last?
When I'm good, like,
we were shooting in Wexford, and there was a guy with us, and his name was David Byrne.
Really?
And he was out with me. They thought it'd be good fun to put the two of us out together. And he was shooting traditional.
All right.
And, he'd the whole lot. He'd the wood arrows, the feathers, the whole lot.
Christ.
And he had a horrible morning. He had a horrible morning. And he was ready to go home. And we were saying, look, just stick around. Because the last 3 targets before we took our break, he did pretty good.
Yeah.
And so he stuck around for the afternoon, and every bloody target. Distance didn't matter. He hit every target. And with that bow, and not on my best day would I be able to do it.
There is an attraction to that bow, like the one Doc shoots.
Yeah. She Doc's another.
Fucking instinctive archery. Awesome.
I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Like, I know my limits. I know what I can and can't do. Like,
but I'd be worried now if I was to go with, say, instinctive archery, like Doc, whatever that is. What is that? Tried,
didn't I?
I'd be gapping all the time.
Yeah,
because they're one and the same, really. It's just a different identification of what you're doing, but you're pretty much doing the same thing anyway. You're visualizing it, aren't you?
Every bow style has its ups and downs. It has its drawbacks. Every single one. Some people say, "Oh, the bows with the wheels on them are the easiest." That's people who don't have those bows are saying that.
It's fact.
It's not fact.
It's fact.
What the difference with it is that you're not. You're going to hit the target. That's kind of a given.
Yeah. Exactly.
But the difference is 4 inches would be the difference, and in those 4 inches, like I've often come back from a shoot and scored. I got 544 out of 560, and came 5th. Do you know what I mean? Well, so there's
the bow changes everything.
Oh, the bow change, but it doesn't.
It gives
change,
you a new fucking head.
No, it doesn't change everything when the other people are shooting the same bow. You're shooting within your category. Like, you couldn't put a compounder competing against somebody shooting trad or even somebody shooting recurve.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a given. But somebody shooting compound against somebody else shooting compound, like, the difference is you're talking millimeters in some cases.
But for me, it just changes the whole dynamic. If you're going to shoot compound, it changes the whole. It's a different mindscape.
Oh, but and some people like the more technical aspect of archery, and that's what I do.
That's where they be at, yeah.
But like, the difference is, like, over in the European Championships last year, there was the poor misfortune. I felt so bad but good for him too, because he it was the last in. You know, there was only 5 arrows left. And he brought the bow back. And it wasn't halfway back, and his release gave, and his arrow went skittering across the floor. And that was, had he got that,
but that can happen to everybody.
he would have had his third place, but he didn't. And you know, like, I was dancing, I was happy, but
Sure,
I felt
even-
bad for him at the same time.
Even
like,
at the Nationals this
yeah,
year.
but with trads and with recurve,
That happens too.
it does, but not as much. You know, like,
Well,
there's a bigger
the point
difference.
difference is ridiculous. I mean, if you're not getting X's, fuck off home.
Oh, but that's the whole point.
But the machine that you're firing is geared towards that precision. Whereas our machine is basically just fucking hit the target.
The compound is precision, but it's still archery. If you're not holding the
course
bow
it's
properly,
archery.
if you're not aligning properly, if you're not doing everything properly, you're not going to hit the target.
Yeah,
it's the same.
I'm not
the same
saying it's not
principle.
archery. I'm just saying the whole approach. I'm going in and you're going in and we're going shooting, right? My ambition for the day is to fucking get the ear, the tail, the leg, just get the target with every arrow, and I'd be delighted. And my scores will probably be pretty good. You go in, and unless you're getting fucking mostly X's,
Oh yeah.
it's so sometimes you don't even see. You just don't know where the X is.
Oh, but that's it.
That's all.
And like, that's you say that the compounders are so slow because
They are
have the
fucking
binoculars up
terribly
because
slow.
they have to see exactly where the spot is because
And blind.
That's what they're aiming for. Like,
I hate going out with fucking compounders. It's like you soak a blanket and you throw it on my day.
Yeah,
I can't
that's-
move, can't get momentum. It's just oh my god. If it was a hunting party, I'd be shooting them in the back.
no, but that's the thing. Like, it's archery, but it's a completely different type of archery.
Of course, yeah.
You know?
Look, I'm not
It's the
saying
difference
not
between
archery.
shooting a handgun and shooting a rifle. You're shooting, but it's
Or a
not the
sniper's
same.
rifle.
Do you know what I mean? It's completely different. Like,
It's a sniper's rifle and a machine gun. That's what you're looking at.
it is. And look,
But
like,
I have qualified in saying that they're fucking annoying. You're all annoying. You're
Oh,
all
yeah.
no. I'll fuck up more often not because I didn't put in because I'm grabbing the bow hoping it's okay more often than not the day of a competition because that's just my time frame. But the psychos with the fucking assassin equipment, they're fucking polishing it and they're reading books on it. They've got all these fucking details. They're just
oh, it's absolutely crazy. I'll be the first to admit it. Like, compound bow is insane. Anybody who's thinking about getting into archery, stay away from compound bow. And I would be 100% for that. Because, number one, it is so damn
recurve
expensive.
is like going fucking paintballing
And
and
number
fucking
two,
year shit.
There's so much that needs to be, like, tuning it it's not easy. You need bow presses, you need clamps. It's just, there's so much involved in it. Like, at least with your bow, if you get a clamp, you can do everything you need to do with your bow. You know, if you want to do that with
I have two
with
kitchen
like, even
chairs.
something as simple as changing strings on a compound is a bloody operation.
And it's expensive.
You know? Yeah, but like, you go and buy a new set of strings for €20. I'll go and get a new set of strings. It's going to cost 160. You know, and I'll get a year out of them.
A year.
Yeah, you get about a year out of a set
Actually,
of strings.
I must order a string.
You know,
I must order a string because if I get a new string and start using it within a month, it should see me good.
like, you get a couple of thousand arrows through it, but like, you'd be surprised how fast. You like Saturday now, 4 hours at each target. You know, 28 targets.
Better wax mine.
That's over 100 hours just in Saturday, like.
Cool.
You know, and it's like, it's going to be a long bloody day, like, you know, it's
Especially if you're with a compounder.
yeah, but like, ideally they'll put compounders with compounders and
Yeah,
look, to be honest,
that
there are
never
some
fucking
recurvers there now, and you could go in and have a cup of tea and come back and they'll still be taking their shot. They'll be picking up grass and they'll be checking which way the wind is blowing, and after all that, they'll still fucking miss.
I just want to see the target and loose the arrow. That's it.
Yeah, but look, it's different strokes.
Because it's
for
like, you
different
know,
folks.
if you're doing it like if you're composing an orchestra in your mind, and instead of the music, you see colours zipping around and curving lines.
What?
The way I'm looking at my archery, I have all the book shit and all the information shit, and then you have just the want to do it, and somewhere in the middle they'll merge and it'll be a new form of approach, and it's like, it's not there yet, but it's getting
Never
there.
again explain it to anybody like that, because that's just the weirdest shit I ever heard. Like,
That's fucking, it's the simplest way of putting it.
No, Jesus, no, that would.
You won't get that in a fucking book.
Maybe there's a reason you won't get it in a book.
No, I just...
No, but it's everybody picks their own.
I was actually going on about that, it just touched on it. It's like, there's like nearly a predestined fucking vibe.
There is, and it depends on the club you go to. You go to Loughrea, you're almost 90%. If you're just starting and you go to Loughrea and say, listen, I'm thinking about joining, what do you recommend? You're going to be...
They're predominantly trad,
You're going to be trad. That's it. You go to Galtee, you're going to be getting a compound. Whether you fucking like it or not, you're getting a compound.
Run.
And that's it, like. And there's other clubs, like, most clubs are mainly recurve.
Yeah.
And no, they're mainly recurve for a couple of reasons. It's not terribly expensive. 300 or 400 euros, and you have pretty much all the gear that you need. Whereas with compound, that might buy you your scope.
That's a mortgage, for fuck's sake.
But this is the thing, like, and I get that. You know what I mean? I'm there at times saying, why the hell did I bother, like? Because it's so damn expensive.
Well, I don't know. I just think if you're starting on recurve, more often than not, you'll probably end up on recurve. Unless you're fucking kind of
there should
coerced.
be a rule that anybody who joins a club should be made shoot recurve first.
But you've seen it yourself with people. They'll try to recurve, and unless they're getting X's within the first week, they're getting...
Yeah, but it's not
even out of there.
It's not even to do with getting X's. It's to do with
the target
form. It's to do, it's
try
easier
fucking
to learn
telling
those
some
things.
people that, and it's like, hello.
Like, there's a big difference if you're drawing a 30-pound recurve bow. Is about the same as drawing a 60-pound.
What are they giving? Maybe a 20-pound bow.
Oh yeah, you'll get a beginner's bow. 20 pound. Like 20 pound is fine for some people.
It's perfect for you to learn your form.
Huh?
It's perfect for you to learn your form. I just so happened to have a bow before I ever went into a club, because, like I said, all those years ago, we got the bows and we were just adamant we were going to have it.
See, my problem when I went over just to try archery, I wasn't in the club, nothing. My problem was I got to shoot the compound the first night. I shot a recurve for 40 minutes. And then I got a compound. And I was going home that night with a new compound bow. And
See, that's just silly.
You know what I mean? I didn't know what was what. Like. And then you need to have specific arrows and everything comes into play.
Look, it's a fucking
if you're shooting
breed.
Indoors, you need a certain arrow. If you're shooting 3Ds, you need a certain... It's just... everything has to be just so.
Fucking diva of a bow.
And the thing is, you go to, say now, the European Championships, you need to have, to compete, to be in with a chance to win anything, you need to have the gear that they have.
Yeah.
Because if you go and say, look, an old set of Avalon Classic arrows there, they'll do me fine. They fucking won't, like. You need the arrows that will actually get you the scores. Like,
yeah, but I think most people grow into that no matter what they're shooting. I mean, I know some of the recurvers now, and if you hear them talking about their bow and their arrows, my God, it's like listening to a fucking... Because once they have so many years behind them, they start to kind of refine their thing.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, with recurvers, you'll find that the people who are going away and spending
are shit hot.
150 euros on a set of arrows are people who aren't going to be losing those arrows.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas probably 75% of recurvers at the moment, are out looking for arrows every day after the shoot. I know that's not saying that they're bad or anything, but it happens. Like, you're shooting a lot of arrows in a day. Some of them are going to go astray, like, and you're going to have to go looking for them.
Well,
now, if I miss the arrows, I'd be home before the arrow stops. There's no point in looking for the bloody thing.
Yeah, but look, it's like apples and oranges, man. They're just so different and yet the same. They're both fruits. But they're just different. I know that I will never, ever go away from the fucking recurve. It's just in me. Like, that's my thing.
No, I will.
I might go trad for a while just to play with that. I've the longbow, I want to play with that.
I wouldn't go trad.
As soon as I get consistent with my hunter recurve.
The biggest problem I have with trad is it's very hard to get a set of arrows that are all the same.
Well, you have to make them.
But this is the thing.
You have to make them, like.
Something as simple as the grain of the timber used in the arrow, will take moisture better than others, and it'll just fly.
But you don't have to go.
Different.
You don't have to go completely trad. You can get some proper fucking arrows.
Yeah, but if you're going trad, you go trad. Like,
that's harsh.
Like I go.
How can you say that? And if even in the compound bow. How many different fucking categories are in that damn thing?
There's too many categories altogether in archery.
It's fucking ridiculous.
You go to any shoot, and at the end of the day, you're waiting for medals. And do you know what I mean? That's the longest part of the day. Like every bow has, and then you've male, female, junior. You know, you've youths, you've cubs. You know, it's there's just so many different categories.
Because at the start, I was wondering, like, you know, you'd be waiting around for the whole rigmarole at the end, and it go on and on, and they'd say so and so won, and they're gone home, and I'm like, fucking now I understand why so many are gone home.
Yeah, but they would. Like a lot of people have to travel long distances.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit around waiting to get a little piece of a medal or something. You know what I mean? It's just not worth the bloody wait.
What about the Olympics? The compounder?
Yeah, they've allowed compounders
teams,
in, but only in the mixed team.
Yeah, that's fucking. What's that about?
Look, it's
a foot in the door, I suppose. No,
they're trying to get the compound in, but
I don't look. Say what you want about the compound. It is very, very fucking popular.
It's a much better spectator sport than the recurve, I think.
Ah, bollocks.
You know,
I don't know. See, you can't say that.
Kind of course,
because it's not true. I know for a fact I won't fucking watch compound archery, but I will watch fucking. I do watch the recurvers.
Yeah, and I
even the
watch
Olympic
the
fucking
recurve.
recurve.
I'd watch the compound, like.
So there's loads of. You think all the recurvers are going to watch compounders?
I know, but the compounders. What I find with the compound archery is it's more of a competition as far. Like I watched the Olympics and some of the archery in the Olympics with the recurvers, and there was a big difference in the scores. Do you know what I mean? So. Obviously, as you get to the quarter-final, semi-final, final, it's a lot tighter.
That's
but before that, there was huge gulf in the score. There was people winning by...
say the same with the Champions League in soccer.
But there was people winning by 20 or 30
games,
points. Like, there was one poor fella there, an Irish lad, he went over to the Vegas shoot, and he had to do a qualifying round, and it was three indoor rounds, and he got 300, 300, 300. He got 40 X's, 42 X's and something like 45 X's.
Yeah.
And he finished in 156th place or something. Yeah. Do you know, perfect shooting. That is, in anyone's book, that is perfect shooting. He's competing against people who are getting 300 with 60 X's, 300 with 60 X's, and 300 with 60 X's. And they're like machines, like.
Yeah, but that's the environment. If that's the environment you're floating in, you will eventually get to, like.
Well, that's the good thing about compound archery in Ireland. The quality and of just compound archery has gone up and up and up, and it's great because we used to be able to go to a shoot and get 520 and win. You know, you get 520 now, and
I'll be honest with you. Now, the last was it Dunbrody, a big shoot. I thought the scores were crazy big, all across the board.
We did the national champs. Was it last year or the year before? And after the first day, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 5 of us between 548 and 540, and there was 5 of us just in that little bracket. Like that's to get 540 and be in 8th position, you know, or in 5th position.
But like you said, it's down to the X's.
That's it.
Whereas with the recurvers, it is like, you know,
the animal.
You'll do well if you hit the animal with all your arrows. You'll get a good score. You'll get a super score.
Yeah, but like you look at the scores, and you know the compounders will get the higher scores because it's more accurate.
I don't know. Mixed series seems to be fucking not too far behind.
But look, I'm talking about normal people. Mixed series is far from it.
Getting some retarded
mixed series now and Daly and a few of the others, like they're just, you know. What are they doing? Like, they're making us look bad, you know.
But Darren Reid,
I actually got the same score as, was it? I think it was McSeary. I'm shooting a compound and he's shooting a recurve, like, and we got the same score.
Yeah, well,
do you know what I mean? That's
he's fucking awesome.
The man is a machine, like. You know, is he going to South Africa?
I don't think so.
Jesus, what a waste.
He's not caught up in all of that.
I know,
stuff.
but
like,
still, like, you know what I
mean? McSeary's shooting against McSeary more often than that.
Yeah. The Europeans in Ireland now will be interesting because you'll have a lot of the lads who didn't go last year will go.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't care as long as I'm there.
When it's local, like, I think you'll have a lot more people turn up than would have.
There should be. They should make a huge fucking spectacle out of it, like.
You have to make a spectacle out of it, alright.
What was it like in Spain when you were there?
Spain, very well run. It was about 10 miles out of the little village that we were in, and it was just big warehouses.
The arena's about an hour from here, is it?
Do you want
The Set2 Arena.
Oh yeah, it's about all.
That's an hour. That's
a drive up and down like that. Yeah. You wouldn't need to be staying down there like. But no, if they do is look. The beauty is that the international rep for IFAF, Mark Davey, is it?
I don't know.
The guy organising it.
Is that Mark? Is it?
Yeah. Well, he's the international rep, so I would assume
he's involved somehow.
He'd a fairly big input into it, like. But he was there. He saw how it was run in Spain, like.
Yeah.
And, he knows exactly what he has to come up with, like. Like, they have a parade through the city before the first arrow is shot, like.
I don't see that happening, dude.
I thought the same. I said, sure, Jesus.
In Ireland.
This is an island off the coast of bloody Africa. I don't think the people here are going to be too interested in
the culture's very different.
But there was a huge crowd. Everybody thought it was a
And
great
the weather.
Yeah, well, the sunshine helps, like. But, so there was a big, what do they call it, the Parade of Nations or something. They do that before the shoot. And then, at the end of it, then you have another big, kind of...
They'll be going around the car park. You have to say to arena.
That's it, like, but you have local culture and stuff like that. You have, traditional dances and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it went well, like, But it was organised well.
And were you doing the same format now in regards to the shoots?
The format
morning or evening, you'd be doing one or the other?
Yeah, the format doesn't change. You shoot once a day.
Yeah.
The format won't change. Like, you're going to have an indoor round, you're going to have a flint round.
And can you hang around, like, say you shoot in the morning, you can just hang around?
Oh, you can, of course. Like, you can shoot in the morning, you can stay and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you'll have an indoor round, a flint round, and an indoor round. And then, obviously, depending on the group that you're in, there'll be different times. And there'll be a practice range open then for when... If you're shooting in the morning round, your practice range will be open an hour before you're shooting. So you've got plenty of time to warm up. But it's like over in Spain, it was run really well now, in fairness to them. Like,
is there anyone doing flint rounds in Ireland? Like practice?
I tell you, the only place I know that do flint round is Craigavon. It's way up the north.
I'm not fucking
and it's a long trip. Like, but we have in the wood, we have our own. We can set it up for a flint round easily.
That would be wise, wouldn't it?
Like a flint round, it's 30 yards is the maximum you shoot, like, so it's just bang an arrow into the ground at each range, and then obviously you need to have different targets, because obviously the closer you are, the smaller the target.
Sure, we can do that.
Oh, we could of course. And closer to the time we will, like, closer. Like, I've no doubt there now, like, Keith and Phelan, they'll get the proper paper targets, and they'll set it up so that we can actually do it at the range.
Paper.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
No, it's good. It's a good experience, like, And the thing is, when we went to it, we were thinking, sure, look, we'll go for the crack.
Yeah.
It's close.
And then get a medal.
And see how it goes. And after the first day of shooting, that's when we said, geez, if we put a bit of effort in, we might actually get a medal here.
The medals were savage, weren't they? The medals were class.
It was nice, yeah. It was nice.
I mean, that's a fucking
ornament. They had it. Everything over there was running military precision. Like, everybody knew exactly where they had to be at any given time, and everything went great. Like, But even while you were shooting, they had big tables of fruit and everything. You just go over and help yourself. Water. They had everything there that you'd need. Like, there was no need to. You didn't have to bring anything with you. You just turn up and shoot.
Well, I don't know how. Again, it will be interesting to see how they'll go about it. But
I know. I think they'll do. Like, look, you were at the last UKFAC. God,
that was shit.
God help us.
I was trying to be polite.
That was.
But it was so. Yeah, I've been to better shoots.
No, that's
normal club shoots.
Yeah. It was very, very.
It was fucking depressing.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like, it really was. And they laid on food and stuff then, but sure, they didn't have sandwiches for half the people.
I thought it was just me being weird, but when we were going closer to it, to Derry, and I saw those Union Jacks like fucking Nazi Germany, I got a vibe, man, and it just was the same, right? When you get to the day, and it's just a fucking shit show.
Like, apparently England did it, and it was fantastic. It was really well organised. It was, everybody had a good time.
Well, when you say England, they nearly kind of have to do better, don't they? They have to make a spectacle out of whatever competition, international one.
Yeah, but like you look at the other side of it, in England are going to get a lot more money to do these things. You know, and at the end of the day, it's down to money. Like, it's down to who has the most. Like, do you know, there was no money put into that. Like, there was.
By the way, Derry people, don't be taking this personally.
Take it personally and do better next time, because it wasn't great. Like, you know, let's be honest. Anybody who went to that shoot and came away from it thinking that was fantastic, it was run so well. Nobody is. Like, there was targets and they were fucking sideways and everything. You know, it was just badly organised. It was badly put together.
But I mean, every part of it. Sure, you wouldn't even give you a glass of water.
They had people
in the fucking canteen.
They had people set up, like, all of your category have to shoot on the same. You know, they had different courses laid out.
Yeah.
All of your category have to shoot on the same course. That's the rules.
Yeah.
You can't shoot on a different course to everybody else in your category.
Yeah.
Because that keeps it fair. Should have half of the people shooting on one course and the other half of them shooting on another course. And that was the morning of the shoot. They had to go in and change everything on the morning.
No, look, you could fucking spin around the room and point.
There was one poor lad there, and if his scores were added up at the end, he would have won. But he shot on the wrong course.
On the
first day.
Yeah.
And he got a fantastic score, and they considered it void. Even though, when he went up to the table...
He went where he was told to go.
Yeah, there was a list on the table of where you were to shoot. Yeah. He'd look at the list, he says, right, I'm on this one, I better head down there. And he went the way down. He was no sooner out the door, they had the list torn up, and they made it up again, and they put a new list up.
Yeah.
And he was on a different course, but nobody told him.
Yeah, he should have...
And he was disqualified for it, like. That's ridiculous.
It is.
You know? But hopefully now it won't. Well, like, to be fair, the indoors that they're going to be holding, it's in one place. You know, it's not as hard to organise.
Are the Nationals going to be somewhere else
They're talking about putting the Nationals in Dundalk.
Oh, don't put it in the fucking
And if they're putting it in Dundalk, they're not putting it... I was up there just before Christmas and the hall was fine, you know, but there's another hall up there. And to be honest, the light up there wasn't great.
Why are they going out of the Set2 Arena?
No idea.
Should there's like a month between the champs.
Don't know. I would have thought it would be a nice dry run for the Europeans.
Exactly, yeah.
Apparently not.
Fucking Christ. My head hurts when I fucking hear some of the things to be
And
doing.
the place up there now, it's basic. It's really, really... like, that's as polite as I can be. Like, it's basic. You know, bring a packed bloody lunch, like, because they're in the shop for miles, like.
Oh, fuck's sake.
It's out in the middle of an industrial estate. They have a big kind of a community centre. You go in and there's football pitches inside and tennis courts, and you're in one of those.
That's, you know what I'm getting? Derry all over again. That's what I'm getting.
That's the thing, like. So, look, they might surprise us, like.
I don't know. You're not. Are you doing the indoor nationals next year?
It depends when it's on.
I imagine it'll be February sometime. No, end of
like
February. Start of February.
If it's February, I might do it. You know. If it's any earlier than that, I won't. But I'll practice away at the indoors anyway. I'll be happy enough to just do the Europeans, like, you know. Now, obviously, if you're doing the Europeans and you want to say get on the teams and stuff, then you need to be there. You need to be shooting for the weeks leading up, because they'll pick the best. Not necessarily the best
club competitions, is it?
Yeah, because what'll happen is, say you go
for the team.
Yeah, for your category, if there's 20 people shooting in your category from Ireland, 4 of those will be on the team. So
I can name them for you. Yeah, I'm not there.
But they'll go back over maybe 4 weeks and say, right, who has the best combined score over the 4 weeks? And they're the 4 people that will go into the team. And that's the right way to do it, like.
Of course, yeah.
But you know, the only thing is just to be sure that there's enough people in your category, which there will be. You know, when it's held in Ireland, you know, you would like to think Ireland will have a big number of people.
Well, I know all the hot shots in my cat. There's the odd time, like at Dunbrody one year, some fucking stranger from up north came down and was very good. But other than that, I know the hot shots in my category.
Yeah. But Ireland tend to do pretty well. Like in Spain, there was...
But who in my category is going to go and do the competition as an
There was 14 went to Spain, and
14
in the Irish team, like, and of the 14 there was 13 medals, which is pretty damn good, like.
Splendid.
You know, for such a small
sure, even up at fucking UKFAC it was all load of Irish medals.
Yeah. So you know, the Irish are, you know, thereabouts, like.
But there was a lot of experience there as well.
There was a couple of lads up there, and you might just give them the medal, like, you know.
Mark Davey was on point at UKFAC, lad.
You see this Mark, like, you see him at the Nationals last year. You may as well not be there at all. And then it was like somebody switching him, like, and he'd be tearing up the course, like.
He's fucking focused from the first minute to the last. He was just dialed right in, like.
But that's archery. 100%. You need to be focused on what you're doing, and that's the good thing about archery. That's what it does feel like. It teaches you to focus. It makes it easier for
it's got its work cut out for it.
But if you don't, you know, and that's when you're having a bad day then, is when you're not able to focus, like.
Speaking of fucking focus, did you see that thing about the wolves, the dire wolves?
The dire wolves that they made.
That they claimed they made, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think they're just big grey wolves. You know?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But it's like, why would people market it as they brought dire wolves?
Yeah, but look, it's the same as Dolly the sheep. Do you remember years ago when they cloned the sheep and there was fucking war over it?
I thought there was like a law about all this shit.
Look,
like
laws. I wouldn't.
Things have got really screwy, haven't they?
Yeah, but look, it's.
They're cute. They're fucking beautiful looking creatures.
Yeah, but what's the point?
That was.
Do you know what I mean? I don't understand what the point of making a direwolf is. Where would they put the direwolf? In the wild, where can a direwolf be
They're not putting them in the wild.
But this is the thing, so what's the point? Why do it?
They have 2 males and a female now.
I can see if they were looking to, you know, something that has, you know, over the last 100 years become extinct and they want to bring it back.
I don't see how they can even do that.
It's just not this direwolf.
If it's extinct, I mean, where are you getting the fucking DNA?
Well, if it's only extinct in the last 100 years, you'd have a better chance. There would be in the bones.
See, when they start talking about this shit, I'm like, what?
But no, look, the
direwolf cut and paste.
Yeah, the direwolf that they made, that was somebody who just watched too much Game of Thrones and wanted to see what a real one looked like, and he had too much money, and that's all it was. You know what I mean? It's
just a bigger grey wolf than a grey wolf.
That's all it is. Like they can't bring back a direwolf because they can't get the full DNA of a direwolf.
But even if they could, like, how the fuck do you do this? I'm just ignorant.
No, but they had to mix it with a grey wolf because they had some parts of it, but they were in the genome sequence there were missing bits because obviously
they just swapped out bits.
So the bits that they were missing, they put in grey wolf.
How the fuck did they even do that? Like,
you know, we should 2025.
That means fucking nothing.
Yeah, but they're genome sequencers, and you can just take bits out and put bits in.
I'm calling bullshit on it.
No, they can do it all right.
I had 3 or 4 different fucking videos of science. This is their job, and I'm still none the wiser. I'm calling bullshit on all of them.
Yeah, but look, they can find a bone in the ground, dig it up, and make a fucking direwolf. Okay, yet they can't cure cancer. You know, because it would cost too much money to.
It's like that fucking space journey that those spastics were on the other day. What the fuck was that? What's that about? That's another. See, you're getting all this crap, like the direwolf thing and this space. Look, they didn't go into fucking space. They went really high up and came down, and it was staged to fuck. Why are they doing these things? That's what I'd like to know.
It's just to distract people from what's happening. That's all it is.
I don't know, it's just...
Look, that's always the same. Anytime something's going on, like Trump with his crazy plans, you know, they just pull something like this just to keep people
But they're all kind of...
occupied.
You pick a category in the whole world. There's some weird shit going on in every goddamn camp. It's like someone's just... The parents have left the building. And the fucking brats are just going doing whatever the fuck they want.
No, it's
insane.
Yeah, but it's a different world now than it was 20 years ago even, like, you know.
I don't know, we're in a flux.
Yeah, but look, the snowflakes are taking over the building, like, you know, it's I don't know, you can't even offend somebody now, like, you know. Even
well, when you look at the sports and you see Man United are the 14th or something on the table.
And how they're 14th, I don't know, they should be like...
Relegated.
I tell you, they're I tried to watch them a couple of times now in the last year. I tried my best, and it's just so painful. It's so difficult. They're just so damn bad. You know, and for people like us who remember when they used to be good, You know, and now to watch these young fellas running around the pitch, running into each other, not being able to kick a ball in a straight line. Now, how can you not kick a ball in a straight line?
Why don't they fucking get Roy Keane's DNA and make a few of him instead of Dyer Wolves?
No, it is. It's just.
Yeah, it's because I was talking with Eamon Nelligan the other day, and he's going on about, like, you know, everything is just fucking Scooby Doo, like.
Yeah, but it's happening. See, it's happening slowly. Do you know what I mean? It's been happening for the last couple of years. So now people are looking at the state of the world and saying, yeah, it is what it is, you know. But had you gone into a coma 20 years ago and woke up today and found out all the crap that's been happening, you'd be wondering what the hell is going on. Like.
Do you remember the Back to the Future movies?
Yeah.
Do you ever see the one where he arrives in a timeline where that Biff lad is like a multi-billionaire?
Yeah.
I don't know, he's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the state of the city. It's kind of like that now.
Yeah. No, it's did you see the movie Idiocracy?
No.
Google it. That's what's happening. That's where we are now. It's about a guy who goes into he's doing some military experiment or something, and he gets locked into a cryo chamber or something, and he's out for a couple of 100 years, 200 years or whatever, and he wakes up and the world is like it is now. You Donald Trump type people everywhere, you know, like even to lie on his bloody medical report, and for the doctors to go along with it. The new NYPD.
What are you talking about now?
I'm on about Trump. Recently, he released his medical report. Listen to this. He released his medical report. This now was signed off by a doctor.
Oh, yeah, because doctors can be trusted, right?
The doctor said that he's 224 pounds in weight, and he is 6 foot. He's 6 foot 3, and he's 224 pounds. The NYPD came out and said, actually, they booked him for one of the things he was arrested for, right? Mm-hmm. So they have his height and they have his weight. He's 5'10", and he's 285 pounds.
And
do you know what I mean?
But it's all.
He's like a big fucking baby, you know.
There's
it's just.
This is where it is now. You can't. You know now that you can't believe everything you see in the media. And you definitely can't believe everything you see on the internet.
Right, no.
But unfortunately, they're mass. I mean, there's a group for everything. And there's some, like I was saying to him, and when I'm scouring shit now, it's like, you know, when you used to go through the channels to find something to watch, entertainment. That's all it is. It's just fucking. You can't be going in there now thinking, I got the information I need. I've got all the facts.
And even
no, you don't.
Even watching the news, like, you just don't know.
But there was a good debate on the Joe Rogan podcast there with two lads. One, I forget what they were fucking arguing. They were everything really. But your man's basically, it seemed his main argument was, because he's, most things that he be discussing, he's like an expert on, a bona fide expert on. And the other guys, not so much. They're interested.
Yeah, but you see, some people think that their opinions are better.
Can't overrule, you know, expert.
I know, but
and I think people have blurred the lines too much, and now you don't know what the fuck.
No, the way it is now is people are going online, especially with the internet. It makes it so easy. People are going online and they're presenting their opinion as fact.
Yeah,
and you can't say they're wrong because it's offensive.
But that's happening in the fucking mainstream news as well.
Yeah, but look, the mainstream.
You get an anchor there and they're all fucking puffed up and they're saying, well, I think he's mad. He shouldn't be saying X, Y, and Z. And you're like, I didn't tune in for your fucking opinion.
Yeah, but it's
report the fucking news.
But the news, like even here in Ireland, like RT is only a mouthpiece for the government.
I haven't watched fucking news. And the odd thing will pop up. That's about it. And
it's so obvious because when something comes up, you know, they'll find some other...
everyone is fucking angry about something.
Yeah, look, everybody has a reason to be angry about something.
They do, but I mean... I don't know.
Like, I tell you, that anybody, especially young lads, like, the best thing they can do is just get their ass to Dublin or Cork Airport and pick a flight and get out of here. Because
there's a lot of them doing that.
It's impossible. This country is just impossible. Like, I remember, even 30 years ago, we could go to work for the week. Now you'd work hard for the week, but at the end of the week, you'd pay all your bills, and you'd have about 2/3 of your wage left. Do you know what I mean? Now, you don't have 1/3.
You're in debt.
You know, it's just gone apt. Like I just there's no words. I just can't figure out how a country that is apparently Ireland is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. If you'd believe that shit.
No.
And I don't know where this is coming from, because look at the state of the roads, look at the state of the bloody infrastructure. It's shocking.
You know the writer Ayn Rand?
No, don't even get me going.
She had
Jesus.
what's the book she had? Did I give you one of
Atlas
her
Shrugged.
books? Is that the one with the railway?
I tried to forget about it about 15 minutes after I finished.
But
It was fucking horrible.
If we'll say the backdrop of
The
society
fountainhead.
is pretty much what it is now, no?
I don't know. I think she's just... I don't know. Do you know what she's like now? She's like...
But not to mind her, but just the story.
Yeah.
And the backdrop, the whole thing, the way it all was put together. It's like now, everywhere. And well, in the Western world anyway.
Yeah, but look, people like us are only here to make sure that wealthy people can keep being wealthy, and that's all it is. You look at just look at COVID. COVID made more billionaires than at any other time in the last 100 years. More billionaires were created during COVID because the people with the money had control of all the information. Look at the Congress over in the United States. They get all the information before everybody else, and there's no law
that says insider trading thing.
There's no law that says they can't buy stocks, on the information that they receive as a congressman or congresswoman. They can buy whatever stock they want.
Do you see the difference in your whole... how animated you've gotten since we left archery?
I'm telling you,
I started going.
Do you know what I mean?
Talking about this thing.
We'll go back to talking about archery, because I will.
But that's
fucking
the
lose my shit.
problem. Everyone is a political fucking pundit these days, and they're all enraged.
But
they're missing out on their life.
I'm not a pundit by any stretch of the imagination, but the government in this country is here to look after the government of this country.
That's
and nobody
governments
else.
everywhere for you. That's always going to
I
be
know,
the
but they
case.
used to at least have the decency to pretend they cared. They don't even do that anymore.
But my whole point is...
And Micheál Martin, a fucking Corkman.
Look.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's still fucking up there with them fucking idiots. Jesus.
It's pointless even bringing it up as a anecdote.
No.
Your stress level, they're up through the ceiling right now, and you're like...
Actually, you were talking about Joe Rogan. Did you see his game? His hunting game.
No.
He has he had it in his podcast there, probably last year, I saw it. For the archery.
Was that the screen wall thing?
Jesus, that's some job.
What kind of arrows are they shooting at that?
Normal arrows. It's a normal target with that thing is projected onto it. There are sensors in the back of the screen. It can tell where the impact of the arrow is. And that
what
brings
about
up
damaging your arrows?
You won't damage your arrows. You're hitting. It's a layer. It's the same as the target. It's a foam target you're hitting.
All right.
The picture is just a projector.
So the whole wall is a foam
The whole
target.
wall is a wood.
Fuck.
And you see your animal walking past, and you shoot it, and it's only going into foam.
Yeah, you want some space for that though. I mean, what was he
It's a
shooting,
warehouse.
60 yards or something?
A warehouse he was shooting it. No, you wouldn't hunt at 60 yards. You'd only hunt 30 to 40 yards to be your max. You wouldn't hunt that beyond that.
Unless you're rifle.
You know? But,
some of those lads he had on the hunting, they have some scary fucking stories about hunting, man.
Yeah, but look, it's...
A lot of folks think they're always on about the hunting, but when you go behind the scenes and listen to the hunters and their near misses and shit, even something as simple as twisting your ankle while you're fucking 5 days trekked out on a mountain range, you're like 5 days gets very big.
Yeah, but it's all down to, especially big hunting sessions like that. It's all down to planning, like, you know.
It'd be great to go hunting like that once, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just for the... Although, as you say that, I'm just getting horror movie flashes in my brain of a fucking bear attacking you.
You'd be out in the middle of the woods,
or even a dog attacking you.
You'd be hearing a banjo playing in the background, like, you know.
Yeah, there's freak
There's
shows.
too much deliverance for me, like.
There's a lot of freaky shit around the place, though. No, I think the targets, that's my limit. But, because I see those rich guys going onto these fucking farms. That's not hunting, like.
Yeah, sure.
They're all up in these pens and all these fucking pigs run down they're channeled down.
Oh, yeah.
And the boys just shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
That's
but they can stick it on the wall then, and they can say, look what I caught.
I'd stick them on the fucking wall. That's wrong. That's murder.
Yeah, sure.
You kill something to eat it. That's it, and that's all.
Just trophies.
I don't like trophy people. I must go for a piss. Do you want to say anything else? You want to talk about?
No, I'm done.
Done. No more politics.
No more politics.